All right, so yesterday we took the quiz on the first half of the chapter. You will get those back tomorrow. Sorry for the delay on that. I still have a lot of people taking it, so I'm still working through the pile to grade those. But we're going to continue on. Today we're doing day 7. Day 7 is on proportions. So in your notes, it's under the 7.2 section. Everybody know where we're at? Okay, so first is the definition for proportion. A proportion is an equation that states two ratios are equal. So you remember from last week, a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. Now it's two numbers set equal to each other. These are always written in fraction form. So it'll be written one ratio in fraction form equals another ratio in fraction form. So when we say to solve a proportion, one of these values will have a variable in it, or sometimes two of them, or more than that. They'll have some x's in there. We solve them by, do you guys remember from previous math classes? It's a topic that everyone kind of likes. Cross multiplying? Have you seen that? So yeah, if you multiply this number and this number, it will always equal what you get when you multiply these two. Yes, it's called cross multiplying. So we use that property of proportions to find the unknown values. Any questions so far? All right, here's example A. So what we're going to do is multiply across the equal sign. So we're doing 1 times 4. That's going to be equal to, 3 times x. Did you have a question?
You said 1 times 4 equals 3 times x.
1 times 4 equals 3 times 2x.
Oh, you just said x.
Oh, you know what I meant.
I'm just making sure.
All right. What is 1 times 4? 4. What is 3 times 2x? 6x. Very good. Then what? Divide both sides by 6. And then simplify. You get 2 over 3. What are your questions on solving proportions? Like I said, this is typically a topic that students like. Excuse me. All right, here's example B. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, because you have to make sure you multiply both of these by the number across. So we're going to have to use parentheses, okay? So the next step will be these two. So it'll look like this. 4, in parentheses, that whole quantity in the numerator, x minus 3, equals, multiply the other way, 5 and 2 gives us 10. Now we have to distribute the 4. What's 4 times x? 4x. What's 4 times 3? 12. So we have 4x minus 12 equals 10. Now what? Yep, add 12. 4x equals 22. Divide by 4. And then reduce. So they're both divisible by 2. So we get 11 over 2. Questions? Here's example 3, so you can see that these are getting a little more challenging. The basic idea is the same. We are cross-multiplying. Anytime there's more than one term, make sure you're using parentheses and distributing. All right, so what am I going to write next?
36 times 2x plus 3.
Very good. 36 times 2x plus 3 in parentheses equals 72 times 2x minus 3 in parentheses. All right, so you have to distribute. What's 32 times 2x? What is it? 72x plus, what's 36 times 3?
98? No, 108.
Yeah, it'd be 108 because it'd be 9 and then you carry it. Yep. Okay, good. And on the right side, 72 times 2x gives us 144x, and 72 times 3 gives us 216. A lot going on.
We add the x's.
Yeah, you want to get the x's together. They're on opposite sides of the equal sign, so we have to use inverse operations. So who are we going to move? I'd move the 72. I always try to pick on the littler one. So subtract 72x from both sides. 144x minus 72x is 72x.
We add 216.
Then you add 216 to both sides. You get 342 equals 72x. Then what?
We divide.
Divide and divide. Good. What is 324 divided by 72? Yeah, if you type it in, you get 4.5. Anytime you get a decimal, that's a good indicator that you should just reduce the fraction. So you can hit the button F, arrow D. That goes back and forth from fraction to decimal. Or you can just start trying to find common factors between those two numbers. It looks like 36 is the common factor. What are your questions? All right, getting into some word problems. All right, so this says, with a 5-pound bag of flour, Charles can make 120 muffins. How many can he make with a 2-pound bag of flour?
So would you write 5 over 120 equals 2 over x?
So first thing you want to do is decide what are the two things you're talking about. Here they're talking about the relationship between the pounds of flour and how many muffins it will make. Okay? So for each ratio, I need to have flour on top, muffins on bottom. Now, you could flip-flop those. You could do muffins over flour, but all of your ratios would have to be that way. So doesn't really matter. This is the way we're choosing, though. Flour on top, number of muffins on the bottom. Okay? So the first piece of information we're given is 5 pounds of flour will make 120 muffins. So I'm going to put 5 over 120. Then I'm given some information about the pounds of flour. Well, I'm always putting the flour information on the top. So the 2 has to go across from the 5. I'm looking for how many cookies it'll make, so that's where my variable goes. That's my unknown. And now you solve it just like we solved the other proportions. We're going to cross multiply, so 5 times x equals 2 times 120. You can actually do the 2 times 120. You get 240, and 240 divided by 5 is?
48.
48. So you can make 48 muffins.
Can you get a price
All right. Example B. If 3 gallons of gas costs $12.52, how much does 5 gallons cost?
That says $11.
Is yours written differently? What's the question?
You said $12.
$11.52. Did I say 12? How about in the future, whatever it says on the board, that's what I meant to say. Okay? I know. I'm going to follow you around and point out everything you did wrong. All right. Let's continue. So using the information on the board, what are the 2 things that I'm talking about?
Gas and gallons.
Gallons of gas and the cost. So I'm going to put gallons on top and the cost on the bottom. All right. So what's the first piece of information that I'm given? 3 gallons goes with 11.52. And 5 gallons goes with I don't know. So this is what my proportion is going to look like. From here I can cross multiply. So 3 times x equals 5 times 11.52. You can go ahead and multiply 5 times 11.52. That is right. You get 57.6. Then what? Divide both sides by 3. And you get 19.2, but we're talking about money, so you need to make it 20 cents. Right. We go to the nearest cent, so 2 numbers after the decimal when you're talking about money.
So it's really about that if you have to do that.
You need to put labels, yeah.
So we'll get the points off.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other questions? So yes, you need to be labeling your answers or you will get points taken off. Any questions? All right, so we're looking at a model airplane. So a model airplane is made to the following specifications. 1 inch to 24 inches. So that means for every 1 inch on the model, that actually represents 24 inches in real life. If the wing of the actual plane is 18 feet long, how long will the model wing be? So we're going to set these up model over actual. All right. So the actual in inches for the model is 1 over 24. And then for the actual length of the wing, now we're going to feet. Okay? So our answer will be in inches or feet?
In feet.
Feet. This one is set up to be in feet. Yep. So you have inches over inches, feet over feet. That's fine to do it like that, okay? Or you could think, okay, so if I converted this to...
Inches. Or actual over body.
Yeah, so if this is 1 foot, this would be 24 feet. Like you could extend it, you could multiply it by 12 and extend it to represent the amount of feet as well. All right, so I'm going to cross multiply. Looks like this.
Divide by 24.
Divide by 24.
X equals 0.75.
X equals 0.75 or 3/4. Okay? And you can leave your answer in feet. That's fine. So just remember, in ratios, the labels have to be the top on the top and bottom. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same, though, across a proportion. So inches over inches is fine as long as you remember that whatever this unit is, that's what this unit is as well. So if you wanted to convert this to inches and then have your answer be in inches, that's fine too.
So does it have to be 3/4 feet or
So you're correct.
0.75?
So 3/4 of a foot is the correct answer. I wouldn't use a decimal on this. I'd do 3/4. The other one, if you converted this to inches, your answer would be in inches, and that's fine. It would just be 9 inches. Okay? Did everybody get what I said there? So if you want to convert this to inches, you can. You just multiply this by 12, and then just remember that now this one is set up in inches as well, so your answer would be in inches. And if you did that, you get 9. What are your questions? Kind of tricky. So I don't really care if you want to convert it to inches and go that route. You can. If you want to keep it inches over inches equals feet over feet, you can do that as well. All right. Part D. For each extra minute used on your cell phone, you pay 30 cents. How much would 17 extra minutes cost? So we are going to set this up as extra minutes over the cost. So 30 cents represents how many minutes? One. Yeah, it doesn't really say 1 anywhere, but if it's each extra minute, that implies the 1. So 1 over 0.30 equals, and then we have 17 minutes over x. Now this one's a pretty simple one because when you cross multiply, you just get 1x. So basically your answer is going to be the 30 cents times 17. What is it? 5.1. 5.1. So that's $5.10. Good. All right, what did we learn about today? Proportions, good. Specifically, we learned about solving proportions. So if you want to add that, you can. All right, I am going to hand out your homework. You have the rest of the hour to work on it. We'll go over it tomorrow just like normal. We'll also go over those quizzes tomorrow, okay? Any questions?